Guys, happy Thanksgiving. It's John here with National Sports Entertainment. And this video, obviously, because I really don't give a shit, it's going to get flagged. It's probably going to... I don't care if it's demonetized. I don't monetize half my videos anyway. But I really wanted to do this video. The reason I'm doing it now is because I'm actually celebrating my Thanksgiving tomorrow. I have an Italian-Irish family, so probably tomorrow and the next day, but my sister's coming into town tomorrow. So I'll be at my folks, my sisters, and then Saturday I might be sleeping a little bit, so I don't want to rush, get the video rushed out. So I'm going to cover, this might be a longer video because it's kind of two videos in one. I really want to cover something specific, which I don't typically do. It's just busy life, so I try and stick to my wheelhouse, which is predicting narratives, which I think we did a great job of today. Literally predicting that this team was going to lose either in a blowout fashion or because of the incompetence of Matt Eberflus. This guy's level of Neanderthal play cannot be overstated. He is just laughably bad, which makes me wonder about the whole scripted thing. It's like, are they just telling this guy to go out there and be as stupid as possible, or are they hiring people that they know are incompetent so they can get the narratives they want, right? It could be either one, but I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want to quickly just go into, you can see in the comments, by the way, in this video, that's why it's going to get flagged, because it's NFL, but I don't edit my videos, I just throw them out there. Speaking of, I might go live on Sunday. You guys can let me know what you think of that. But anyway, yeah, so the comments are all calling for this man's head, and rightfully so. So this is the last 2 minutes. I'm going to try my best to kind of move it along. But the very first play is very telling of this coach, okay? I don't want to change it to the full screen because I don't know when I upload the video if it's going to wind up coming out sideways. I'm not very tech savvy, but let's just watch this first play. We'll watch it in silence, and then I'll go over what I think is interesting. Now, this comment is actually, in my opinion, a perfect point to be made for the play we're about to see. The fact Caleb still got sacked 4 times by the Lions. Whatever he finishes off with, we know Caleb has problems with getting sacked, right? So let's just see what Matt Eberflus drew up on a first down at the 50-yard line. You need a first down. Hopefully not something to get Caleb sacked, right?
Well, coming up, the State Farm postgame show, JB and the crew, the game recap, as well as the presentation of the Madden Thanksgiving MVP. It's coming up on the State Farm postgame show. 2 minutes to go. Bears down a field goal. 1st and 10 at the 50. Kramer is the new center. Fake it to Moore.
And just right off the bat, I want to pause it here, okay? Not to be one of the breakdown guys, but sometimes people need it broken down. Tell me a receiver you can see that's in the area. We got DJ Moore, who is jogging his way to a check down route, and then one guy at the bottom of the screen. So Matt Eberflus decided it was a good idea against a very aggressive Lions defense to come out in the shotgun with really no protection on these blitzers. We got a blitzer or two, and let Caleb just have to stand there for at least 5 seconds as these deep routes develop. We know the guy has problems with getting sacked, right? So, I'm not even pointing out the most egregious error this man made. He does this every single game, and he does it throughout the game. To me, this is a no-brainer check-down situation. You run a short hitch route. You run a draw. And I know I typically don't go into this stuff, but some people are newer to the channel and not sure if it's rigged. This is what I'll say. No high school coach, let alone an NFL coach, should draw up this kind of play for a rookie quarterback against a great defense. And you can see, the most, I think Keenan Allen's their best guy, but their most explosive guy, DJ Moore, is running a weak route. It's not like he's running a quick flats route where you're going to get the ball in his hands against the linebacker. You're just leaving Caleb to the wolves here. So now he's got to wait. He's got to let these routes develop. So let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure we know, but let's see.
Looking for him. Nothing's there except Lion defenders.
So it's gobbled up.
Including Ezekiel Turner, who got to him first.
And you'll see these receivers in the play.
Play fake right
ear.
He's
And
already
at this
lost.
point,
So again, this is like a kid playing Madden trying to be a coach. Not only is he having these deep routes, but he's doing this bootleg play action. So it kind of takes more out of the play because he's the decoy here, number 2, more. And now you just need one of your deep routes to open. It's like a coin flip. And it's much less than a coin flip because it's not like you have Randy Moss over here. You have a couple good receivers, and your best receiver is taken out of the play with this ridiculous play action. So you have a rookie quarterback running this on 1st and 10. It's just disastrous to begin with. Like, yeah, you might break one, but that's not really your goal here. Your goal is to get into field goal range and then take some shots at the end zone. So, again, you'll see no receivers have a shot at this ball before Caleb gets sacked. And then to add insult to injury, instead of making it like Rome that runs this route, you have DJ run the decoy. So now you're going to have really no explosive people that can quickly run around, and it backfires.
you're going to see the defender come flying in. And that is a great job by Turner. You're going to block, I'm going to rush. Instead of standing back there, makes a huge play.
2nd and 17, clock running. Williams in trouble again. Splits the defenders and takes off. Gonna fight Branch for every inch. And he picks up 6.
Great job by Caleb Williams. Getting out of this, you're going to see this.
So here's basically the same set, the same formation, the same idea. Again, it's a deep route play. So after taking a sack, instead of trying to get some yards back, maybe you go short to Cole Kmet. Maybe you run an under route to DJ Moore, although they couldn't do that without getting an offensive pass interference call. He kind of comes back with the same type of play. The only thing that worked out here is Caleb bailed him out. I mean, there's no other way around it. It was the same exact play call. It was like in Madden when the play doesn't work and you get mad, so you run it again. That's what Eberflus does here. He runs the same type play. This time you do have Moore at least running a route. Nobody gets open, and instead of taking another sack, because again, this offense is just not in a rhythm to where they can run this Brady, Manning, Mahomes type offense. He's got to run, and to his credit, Caleb does a good job of bailing out Eberflus here.
Edge, and then
Lion defender. That was a 13-yard scramble by Caleb Williams. At one time, it looked like they had him. He pinched right between the 2 defenders.
positives like you pick this one from here.
Pass.
So broken up here.
What a play by Smith.
They're still looking pretty good.
Smith pops out at defensive end. They're going to have
From the pocket. Pass. Caught. First down. It's Moore. Down to the 22-yard line.
I think this is
It was a 21-yard pass play. The flag is at the far.
And they keep playing man-to-man coverage. And when you play man, you want to get pick routes you can run by. But watch, you can't.
So there's the obvious penalty. We just saw it. He just hits number, Kmet here, 85. Just completely runs the defensive back off of the receiver. You can't do that. And this one, I won't even accredit to Eberflus. I'll say, you know what? The tight end, Kmet, should have known what he can and can't get away with. Obviously, Eberflus knew what he was doing when he drew up this play. He was hoping for this pick, and DJ Moore would be wide open, and the refs wouldn't call it. Which, again, is horrible coaching, but that was the idea, right? You're going to pick him, hope that Kmet knows the exact amount of excessiveness, because, again, any contact really that looks like it's not in him running his route, and it's not Kmet was running his route, he just stopped, and he just kind of checked the defender of DJ Moore. So I'll give that one to Kmet. We won't even blame Eberflus on that one, although I think a better coach wouldn't have had to rely on this play. That was 50-50 so far. They got away with one earlier in the game. They got tagged for one earlier in the game. This time they got tagged for it. So we'll blame the tight end. We won't even blame Eberflus for this one.
Kmet's done a great job, but right before contact,
Now this one, and again, it's every single play. It's not like I look for this stuff. This one here is actually going to be the referees. So again, you don't need one guy or every guy involved. You just need a few players, a ref here, a coach there. And let me know if you notice the right side of the line here. Maybe a non-call that should have been called against the Bears. Pretty obvious. I know many people who caught this in live time, but let's watch the play. Clear false start. As you can see, this right tackle moved early. That's why he's a yard and a half back to protect Caleb. Easy call. I caught it in live time. I know many other people who caught it in live time. Unfortunately, the refs didn't. They just slipped their mind. But don't worry, they're going to make up for it.
Williams has to backpedal. Running for his life and heaves it down the field. And a flag comes out.
So they're making up for it.
This is going to be PI on Detroit. But was it? They're talking about picking it up right now, Jim. It wouldn't have been.
Oh, boy. Vildor flagged for it. And the Bears are going
to get tied up here, and you're going to have some fighting hand play. The question and the decision.
So here's my favorite part where they bring in the, quote, expert to basically just shut everybody up. The expert comes in and says, yep, it was a good call. And that's supposed to be enough for us to just accept it. The funny thing is, in this case, the expert doesn't even confirm it was a good call. Clearly a bad call. You could call this, sure, but then you can call every single time a receiver and defensive back are jostling for the ball a pass interference. At most, it would be an illegal contact, but of course they had to call a pass interference to get the Bears closer to make this a game. And again, they missed an egregious false start on the Bears, right? But they catch this. And then on top of that, uncatchable ball, really a ticky-tack foul. And the way you know it's messed up is what happens is when they do this kind of stuff, you'll see they're going to flash away from this replay before the play finishes out. So they're just going to let you believe that, number 29 tackled him or something, which he didn't. He was basically playing him like this the whole route. They waited for the incomplete pass to throw the flag. But again, you're going to see they're going to cut away from this because they don't want people to see the whole play because they know it was a bad call. So really nothing on Eberflus, but he is handed a miracle. Just like last week with the onside kick, he was handed a miracle, and not even Matt Eberflus could blow 2 straight miracles. This one on Thanksgiving, right? But let's watch this.
They're making is, once they decide to disengage, do they both disengage at the same time, or is he restricting him a little too long?
29-yard penalty on 4th and 14.
And you see they cut away, of course. So let's see what happens here.
On first down, Williams. Oh, he missed out of the feet of Moore, who had all kinds.
Beautiful play, beautiful draw up. No excuse on that one. DJ Moore should have had that one for about 15-20 yards. Maybe some say he would have scored. I don't think so. Again, I think Eberflus still would have found a way to blow it, but that's pretty basic. Simple route, crossing route. These are the type of plays that Eberflus should have been running at the 50-yard line. These 5 to 10 pickups, and that would have been even more because Moore was just completely unguarded. So, yeah, good call, unfortunately.
Space. 6 of them have been one-possession losses, with Chicago claiming 3 of those. Tight wins.
The Bears end up losing. That'll be one that Caleb wants back. Ton of space there, and I know he had a little internal pressure, but still a lot of game left.
2nd and 10. And timeout call.
Again, now this is after a penalty. Okay, so a few people have been asking me to do these types of videos, these more of these breakdowns, and we had people that used to do them. They actually started watching our channel and just stealing our ideas and using them for their breakdown videos, which I don't care, but that's the reason I never did breakdown videos. But most of the people that did the breakdown videos aren't really doing them, so I've had a few people asking me to do these types of videos, and this one's not really in-depth. It's just going over the last 2 minutes of this ridiculous game. Now again, the average person might not think this is a big deal. You're coming off a penalty, meaning you've had a couple minutes, probably a good minute, I'd say, to draw up a play. That's on the coach. You can't put that on the rookie quarterback. You need to have a play drawn up and ready, and an audible ready, in case it's a defensive formation that you weren't expecting. But Eberflus, again, just not ready, comes out here and needs to call another timeout right after they just got a timeout from the penalty, which is going to take them down to 1 timeouts. Now, as you know with this guy, I guess he really doesn't think timeouts matter because we're going to see the end of the game. But just another really horrible coaching example of bad time management. You should not have needed to burn this timeout for this delay of game that was about to happen. You should have been ready with 20 seconds on the clock. So just another small example, but it's a microcosm of the Matt Eberflus effect on this Chicago team.
Well, as that play clock was running down, but you're and we'll have
Base. 7-4, 6-5, and just gotta.
So the last thing, you're a Bears fan, you're happy right here. You have a timeout, you're tying it at the worst. Maybe your kick gets blocked, but you're probably tying it at the worst. And a very good chance you can win this game, right? Win it right here, or maybe in overtime. So anybody watching this game is probably thinking, outside of a complete blunder, this game is as good as ours, or at least we're in the game.
These games, they haven't been able to do it recently, but an opportunity here.
2nd and 10. Williams guns it, pulled down by Allen. Fights for the out of bounds to stop the clock.
Another good play. It's going to come back. Hands to his face.
Big gain. Coming up the face guard.
Right there. Some will say penalties is coaching. I'm not going to blame Eberflus for that. What I'll say is I think it's a make-up call for the referees, right? They called a horrible pass interference after missing a false start for the Lions. Now they got to even it out, so they call an illegal hands to the face on the Bears. Just my opinion, because obviously this didn't really help the Bears in the long run. It keeps the game closer, automatic first down, all that. But yeah, can't really blame the coach on that one. He didn't do anything. What I will say is, again, I think it's just a make-up penalty. You see them all the time, where there's a bad call, and then a few plays later, they call one on the other team.
It's going to be 43, you're thinking is the max, to now it would be 53. With a kicker who has struggled in some of these big spots. It's been blocked each of the last 2 weeks. 2nd and 20. No one touched him.
And Caleb, and we're going to go into a few things right here. Caleb gets a lot of flack for taking too many sacks. What I will say is you can't do anything with that. Again, you had Eberflus come out in a medium route situation, right? Because it's 2nd and 20, and the Lions know this, so they have players running medium to deep routes. You have no protection for him, and he's not going to pick this up. As a rookie, he might pick up a gunner that's not being accounted for, who's going to just come in untouched. But the coach needs to have the right formations. This is just somebody being completely, utterly outcoached, as you can see. I mean, the Lions knew what they were running, and it's like if you just told your opponent your play, this is what would happen, right? But here comes the egregious part. We got 32 seconds. We've seen teams drive the field in 32 seconds. We're looking at a 58-yard kick right now, which it's about to switch to 3rd down, is not that bad for today's league. And more importantly, you have a timeout, and you have 3rd down coming up, meaning the most conservative but probably the least riskiest way to go about this is you call a timeout, 32 seconds, you call a timeout. Then you come out and you run probably some kind of halfback draw, or maybe even a screen or something. You're going to get 7 yards, and your kicker's going to be kicking a 50-yarder or something like that for the game. You might get a better play, but the defense is not going to be playing press defense. They're going to be playing off a little bit. So you can almost guarantee 5 yards on this 3rd down. They call a timeout, 32 seconds. They run it for 5 yards. Leaves about 25 seconds for the field goal unit to get on the field. No problem. You can also go the other way. You can hurry up, have a play ready, which Eberflus clearly did not. Run that play, and then you call your timeout. Let's see what they do. And I'm sure people have seen this already.
Down goes Williams.
I mean, they're going to do something, right?
Zadarius Smith.
Well, this is supposed to be a quarterback.
And the funniest part of this is watching Romo just call the game while Nance starts completely panicking. And Romo, I don't even think Romo realizes how Eberflus is about to blow this game. Watch Romo just continue to talk about formations and the previous play, and Nance is like, "You got to snap the ball here." It's pretty funny. So let's watch this.
Draw. They have a light box.
We can't blame Caleb, by the way. Look at him. He's signaling we need to run a play. And the rule is, when you got a rookie quarterback, you have a timeout. it's the coach's job to call this timeout if he feels it needs to be called. Which again, timeout, run a play. You have time even here to get the field goal unit on the team or on the field. I'm sorry, but Romo is really what makes this pretty funny.
Clock is running with 15 seconds, and it's 3rd and 26. They have one timeout left.
This is like the light box. You could have gotten numbers, but just didn't.
You better hurry.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is disaster in the making here. You're going to have to do something when it comes down to this play. Incomplete, and the game is over. Completely botched at the end by the Bears.
I can't believe they didn't take a timeout. You just assumed they would have taken.
They're looking around like, what just happened?
They had a timeout left.
The clock has struck 0, and it is over. They took way too long to get in position to run this play. This had no intention of being their final play.
Oh, my goodness.
They would have.
So there's that, and then again, it's really just, to me, it sums up Matt Eberflus, his season and his career as a coach in 2 minutes. You can see Romo and Nance just completely shocked, and I'm not shocked. We've been calling this since week 3. I wanted to do that because, there's people that watch and they're like, well, how can this happen? Or you need all these guys involved. You really don't. You just need either purposeful or even accidental incompetence, the referees, to make sure that the game goes as planned. And you see not much crazy happened. It was just, again, it was some of the most incompetent coaching I've ever seen. By the way, Matt Eberflus has backed up this decision, saying he thought they did a great job and they ran it the way he wanted to run it. So if that's the case, again, I don't know how this man has a job. It's laughable at this point. I mean, you would expect him to say, yeah, that's not how we expect our offense to look. We would hope with 30 seconds and a timeout in field goal range, we would get a field goal attempt. But no, he's just doubling down. Each week somebody else gets blamed. This is the end. We already predicted this, so it's not really anything new. But he's definitely fired now. They might wait till after Thanksgiving, although some fans were suggesting he be fired before the appetizers, which I honestly wouldn't be against. So anyway, we got the Cowboys cover. We actually missed the Bears cover because I had the Lions covering with the caveat if they didn't cover, it was going to be because Eberflus blew a possible game-tying or winning drive. You can't make some of this stuff up, and it's just so obvious. So I wanted to do that breakdown to show a few things. We saw some referee questionable calls, non-calls. We obviously saw Eberflus, and you look back, even back to the first play of those 2 minutes, that just to run a deep route on first down, not run the ball once, not try any kind of short routes, and you're putting Caleb in this really bad spot. And then he still comes out and makes some nice plays. He has that scramble, couple penalties, one really goes their way, and they still find a way to blow the game. And it was just time management. I've seen better time management from people playing Madden. I really have. I've seen better time management at a McDonald's drive-thru than from this man. So really just a pathetic performance. He's going to get fired now, so that'll be a prediction of ours that comes true. Cowboys covered. I think Dolphins win. So I want to transition into the rest of the games. We got Raiders-Chiefs here. I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover. They've had a couple close calls with the Panthers. Obviously, that was a close one. I think we got that last week, having the Panthers with the cover. Just makes sense to have the Chiefs not look too good right now. At the same time, the Lions are looking unstoppable. But 13's kind of heavy. I'm going to take them to cover the Raiders, get back on track. Colts-Patriots here. I'm actually going to go with the Patriots to win outright. I don't think the Colts are a playoff team. So them going to 5-8 and basically being eliminated from the playoffs doesn't do much. There's a bunch more teams, including the next one I'm about to cover, that I think make much more sense for a playoff run. So, yeah, I think the Patriots get this win outright. I don't think anyone's going to be on them. Steelers-Bengals, I like the Bengals here for the cover. They shouldn't be favorites if you really think about it. But it is Cincinnati. And again, we had them back when they were 0-4, making a comeback and making the playoffs. A win here would certainly help that cause. And the question comes down to, do they cover? I think they do. So I think they cover, improve to 5-7. Chargers Falcons here. This one could go either way. It really depends on how the Bucks do, to be quite honest. Both 5-6. I remember last year all the teams in the NFC South dropped to 6-6, or at least 3 of them did. So I'm gonna just run it back and say they do it again. So I'm gonna take the Chargers here for the cover. It also keeps them pretty close to the Chiefs, although I don't think they're gonna catch them. They could have at least an entertaining match down the road. So I got the Chargers for the -1. Seahawks Jets. I'm gonna take the Jets to win. I don't think they're gonna make a playoff run. They may make it somewhat interesting. It's more the fact that I think more people are going to be on Seattle here. They are the better team. The Jets have looked pathetic, even after getting Adams, getting rid of their coach, all these different things. So I don't see many people on the Jets. I think this will be the one that they wind up taking. So I got the Jets here winning outright. Texans, Jags. Texans in a little bit of a slump. They're not looking as good as they could. If you remember my prediction from my playoff video, I have the Jaguars getting the first pick. I think it makes sense. They're going to London, you give them a first pick. So I don't think they're going to win this game, but 4 points is a little bit light. I am going to take Jacksonville +4. I think this is a classic case of Texans win, Jaguars cover. So I'll take the Jags +4. Cards, Vikes. Again, the Vikes are getting in the playoffs. I didn't think they would, but obviously they are. And in the Cards, if they win here, they could pull a couple of games ahead of the Niners. And then the question becomes, do the Niners maybe miss out? So, just looking at where I think the public's going to be, I'm taking the Cardinals +3.5. I would take them straight up, but I feel like it could be a 3-point game, especially with the Vikings involved. I think the Cardinals, I like them better than I like the Vikings, so I would take the Cardinals to win. But what I really like is Cardinals +3.5. I think they will cover that spread. Titans, Commanders, again, another pretty light spread here. The Titans are really bad. Commanders are a really good team at home. So, just like the Titans just covered the Texans, because it looked like a weird spread, they beat the Texans. I'm going to take the same logic and say the Titans cover this 5.5. And, so Titans +5.5. I like that play a lot. Bucks, Panthers, another weird one. Bucks coming off a really big win. Again, I think they win and improve to 6-6. The question comes down to, do they cover? I am going to take them to cover. I think they'll look pretty strong here. I think they want the Bucks looking pretty strong down the road, because I do think between them and the Falcons, it's going to be a pretty entertaining end of the year. So I'll take the Bucks -5.5. Rams, Saints here, and I'll take the Saints to win outright. Again, it keeps the NFC very, very close and interesting. And teams like the Cowboys could even make a run if the Saints win. The Rams win, it makes it a lot tougher. And if the Saints win, they're only a game back of the Bucks Falcons. So for a few reasons, I like the Saints here outright. We got Eagles, Ravens. In this one, I do like Baltimore to cover the 3. Again, I think you have to establish other teams to the Chiefs. The Texans aren't looking that good right now. So really, it's just the Bills. But if you have Bills, Ravens, Chiefs coming out of the AFC, it's a little more unpredictable. Even though I think it's going to be the Chiefs, people can say, oh no, it's the Ravens year, it's the Bills year, etc. So I like the Baltimore Ravens -3 here. It's a big narrative game, and I think they improve to 9-4 and cover the 3-point spread. Niners Bills, interesting one, because Niners lose and they're in some trouble. Bills on a big winning streak, and this is the game. I think the Niners. I think they're going to be interesting matchup too. We have the bill, like the dollar bill versus gold, right? The Niners. And it's in a year where people are saying the dollar is going to collapse. So we got the gold versus the bill. But no, I like the Niners just because I don't think anyone's on them at this point. The Bills have been running through everybody, and I think it makes sense. Again, if the Bills lose and the Dolphins win tonight, there's a shot where they could at least have an interesting dynamic for the AFC East. And more importantly, if the Niners win, the NFC West is way more, in my opinion, appealing. So I'm going to take the Niners for the upset victory, which leaves us Monday night, a very uninspiring game. I'm going to take the Browns outright, just because I really don't think the Broncos are making the playoffs. And if they move to 8-5, they're probably making the playoffs. So I think that the Browns can come out and beat the Broncos. They move to 7-6. And then a team like the Dolphins, someone like that will wind up taking that 7 seed from the Broncos. To me, that makes a lot more sense. I just don't see the appeal of putting the Broncos in the playoffs. So the Browns winning, and like I said, then the Dolphins winning tonight. Next thing you know, they're right behind the Broncos for the playoffs. So I wanted to cover these. Oh, we already got the Dolphins started. Yep. All right, so decent start. We have the Dolphins winning this one, obviously, with Tua having a good game for himself. And yeah, all these are for tomorrow. So I wanted to cover tomorrow's games, but I really wanted to go into the breakdown of Eberflus just because, mind you, this is 2 minutes of one game. Just imagine if, like a lot of these other schmuck channels, I took time and like took a week and edited everything this man did into one video. Let's just say the Bears probably would have fired him sooner had I done that, because it's so revealing. But I don't do that, I don't have that much time to go back and, take clips and edit everything together. I'm just looking at 2 minutes from a game that just happened. And in my opinion, it's just the embodiment of the Matt Eberflus era for Chicago. So he's fired, in my opinion. There's no way he's not. They might wait until 12:01 so they don't fire him on Thanksgiving, although he deserves to be fired on Thanksgiving. And then, not much unexpected. Got the Cowboys cover, and I think we're going to get the Dolphins win. Oh, it looks like a muffed punt or something. Yeah, I think the Dolphins muffed a punt here or something like that. But still a lot of football in this one. So here's my picks for this week. I think it'll be a good week as we get closer to the playoffs. I think things become more obvious. But I really wanted to cover the breakdown, because a lot of people have been asking me to do like breakdown type videos. I didn't have a lot of time, and I'm going to be busy all weekend, so I thought I would just kind of do a 2-in-1 to kind of get out for Sunday, as well as going into, and we got some Friday games too, so that's the other reason, as well as going into just the asinine play calling of this guy. And there's a reason when they said they said something to the effect of what a botched game, like Romo said, like what a bad call, whatever. They like shot right to Eberflus. Like the hard cam came right in on Eberflus's shocked face, because again, it was just completely on him. And I think this sets up the Bears really nice for next year, because obviously they're going to bring in a new coach. They're probably going to get a couple different players, and they're actually going to have an identity, which is big. If you look at the Lions, you think of the Lions, you think of identity, right? So Chiefs, same thing. So yeah, bodes well for the long-term aspirations of the Bears, but as far as today, it was pretty sad too. There are so many fans just calling for this man's head, and again, I mean, I don't know how people are just noticing it. He's a horrible coach, but that is what it is. I think, again, they script these things because they just seem too... I don't think we'd be able to predict such specific things if it wasn't scripted, but we'll have to see. So here's the rest of the week. I wanted not to make this video drag on, but I wanted to kind of in-depth cover that breakdown of that ridiculous game, and then also go into the rest of our games for this week. So happy Thanksgiving, take care, and happy earnings.